Well, hello again and welcome to another episode of the Hyperion Adventures Podcast. I'm Tom. As always, I'm with my gorgeous, intelligent, very hard-working, 80s music-loving wife and co-host, Michelle.
Yeah. Thank you, sweetie. Hi, everybody.
So good to have you with us. We are recording this episode on Saturday, July 29th, 2023, and the episode will be dropping on Sunday, July 30th, 2023. And I know we say it all the time, but where has the month gone?
I don't know. It just must be that we are, such busy people.
Yes.
That time flies.
That must be it. We are just so busy that, we just can't keep track of things. It just whizzes by.
We have fun all the time, right?
That's it. We do have fun all the time.
Right. So
most of the time.
Time flies when you're having fun.
There we go. And that's why this year is flying by like crazy. It's insane. Thank you for joining us today. In the future, you can find us most everywhere you get podcasts. However, the very best place to find us is on our own website, HyperionAdventuresPodcast.com. And while you're there,
we would love for you to sign up for our newsletter if you haven't already.
Please sign up for the newsletter. It's just a great way to be involved in the Hyperion Adventures podcast world. And it's all full of Michelle-ness. So you know you're going to love it because Michelle is fantastic.
Now, I don't know if that's really a selling point. But, like some things, such as today's topic, was first announced to the subscribers of our newsletter.
That's very true because Michelle is always on the ball with that newsletter. But you know that if you are subscribed to it. So you know what's going on. Also, we're on social media. If you want to find us there, we're at Twitter, X,
I think, or
whatever it is, at Hyperion Podcast, Facebook, Instagram, and Threads at Hyperion Adventures Podcast. If you are on Facebook, come on over and join us for some good, positive Disney energy fun on our Hyperion Adventurers Facebook group.
Yeah, we have some really great people there, don't we, honey?
We sure do. They are great people on that Facebook group, just sharing their adventures, Disney, or just in general in life, and just celebrating the positivity that is out there in the world.
Right. Another outlet for positivity.
Absolutely. That's what we're all about here. Also, we're on YouTube. If you want to find us there, we're at Hyperion Adventures Podcast. And if you ever want to contact us for any reason, please hit us up at our Gmail account, HyperionAdventuresPodcast@gmail.com.
Sure. Feel free to just drop us a line to say hi. We always appreciate that. And if there's any questions that you have, we're here for you.
Yep. We're always happy to answer a question if you have it, or if you just want to say hi. We are fine with that. Now, before we get into this week's show, we always like to take a look back at the week that was, because look, we are the Disney show of positivity. We like to be sure and point out those positive moments from the week that was. We call it My Favorite Thing from This Week. And when we do this, we always start with Michelle, because you heard it last week. She does the best research. You're about to hear it. She has the best lists. You hear it every single week. She has the best tips. She also always has the best My Favorite Thing from This Week. So Michelle, what was your favorite thing from this week?
Well, didn't do a lot, so I couldn't draw from that. But there was a piece of information that was announced this week that really cheered me up, made me happy, because it included a place that I really enjoy going to. And that's some restaurants reopening and really amazing new dishes that they're offering over at Fort Wilderness Cabins and Campground.
And Michelle is giving a little tease to what will be in the Disney Stories of the Week, extensively in the Disney Stories of the Week this week, because that was very exciting news. So very, very much looking forward to checking that out in the near future for sure.
Right.
Yeah.
What about you, sweetie?
My favorite thing from this week is, like you said, we didn't do a lot this week. There wasn't a lot going on, but the big news for me this week is I finally found out the official date when I'll be transferring to my new position within the company I'm working for. So as of we're recording this 2 weeks from today will be my final date in the position I currently am. And then the next Monday should be the day that I'm starting my new position. And I'm very much looking forward to the new schedule, waking up at a semi-normal time again, and just everything that's involved with that.
Yeah, I have weekends off and things like that more consistently and stuff.
all sorts of fun stuff like that. So. We did also get a My Favorite Thing from this week from one of our listeners, right from the Hyperion Adventurers Facebook group. Right. This is from Scott in Minnesota. He said, my favorite thing this week, it's time for the 3M Open here in the Twin Cities. I'll be volunteering again. If you see a guy out there with a fantastic mustache, it is a fantastic mustache. It is.
It's stellar.
Yes. Yep. That's me. Say hi. And with the heat indexes forecasted to be up around 100 degrees, I shall heed the advice of Tom and hydrate. Yes, that is good advice. Yep. Even when it's not 100 degrees out, but definitely when it's hot like that. I think this is something that Scott does kind of annually.
Yeah,
it's and by the way, by the time you're hearing this tournament is probably already over. But I think he gets out there and he volunteers, and what he does is he carries the score. He gets with a group of pros and kind of carries the scores around. So he's just going from hole to hole. Yeah. People who know where they are score wise.
Right. Yeah. And like you said, we're just really glad he took the time to share that with the group. We're all happy that he's doing that and hoping he, like you said, depending on where somebody's listening to this, that he had an awesome time.
Right. Yeah. I know he loves it. He loves his golf. And I think he looks forward to this every year. So that's very exciting.
Yes, it is.
Stuff. Yeah, for sure. Now on to this week's show. We have lots of stuff for you this week, including, Michelle already mentioned a little bit, Disney must have heard us talking about it with Justin Monreal a couple of weeks ago because they just released details about the reimagined Trails and restaurant at Disney's Fort Wilderness Resort. We'll tell you all about that at length. Coming up soon. Speaking of changes at Disney dining locations, there are a few big ones coming to some Disneyland restaurants. We'll tell you all about that as well. And speaking of the happiest place on earth, if you're a fan of not so scary Disneyland fun and Disney guided tours, we have some good news for you. But that's later. Let's go ahead and get to our very 80s main topic of the week. Well, I really hope you like this because I think this is
because it's wackadoodle.
It is wackadoodle, but I think it's fun wackadoodle. It's a fun wackadoodle topic that I think has a lot of room for people to expand on and, really kind of think about things. I know I've thought about many of these songs and how they would fit within the Disney umbrella, per se. I don't know about what you thought, honey.
I don't know that I ever thought of it in that regards. I mean, other than like what we've seen on Guardians of the Galaxy or Muppets, things like that, where they've taken some songs and kind of put it in there. So when I was approaching this one, I don't know that anything was organic for me, but that I definitely found things that would, I think, work.
Okay. All right.
Does that make sense?
Apparently we looked at this topic very differently. I found it fun to think about, there's some of these songs, these 80s songs that I love. And that's what we're doing, by the way. We're doing 80s hits that we wish were Disney songs.
Right.
I looked at these songs that I love and how could I possibly fit that somewhere within the Disney world? Could I tie it to a character? Could I tie it to a film? Could I tie it to an attraction? Could I tie it to a nighttime spectacular?
Right.
Something along those lines. And I had a lot of fun just kind of thinking about it, mostly, like I said, picking out some of my favorites. And I got a lot of songs that I love from the 80s. It's my wheelhouse.
Yeah.
So I had I enjoyed it. I guess it didn't quite resonate as much with you, but
well, not that it wasn't fun. I think that, like I said, it wasn't as organic.
Okay.
So I think partly too because some of my favorite songs I don't think would be appropriate for Disney.
You're so dirty with your music you listen to. You should hear it. It's just filthy stuff.
Yes, right. But not that it couldn't be. But, I tried to, even with the ones that I ended up selecting, making sure there weren't lyrics that could be misinterpreted.
Right,
and so I think that's where I had the that it wasn't as, oh, this automatically. There's a lot of songs that I love that I thought, oh, that'd be cool to be in a Disney movie. But then there'd be this one line or, phrase or whatever. And like,
I also looked at it as like, pieces. It could be snippets in different things too. It doesn't have to be the whole song.
Sure.
It can be a portion of it that you can meld to how you want it to be within the attraction, within the nighttime spectacular, within the film or whatever. Or you can adjust the lyrics slightly and make it fit maybe a little bit better or whatever.
Yeah, so. I guess if I had thought of it in that regards, I was very much more, I guess, rigid.
Which is weird for that I'm the one that's like out here looking all around trying to find things, and you're the rigid one. Usually it's just completely the opposite between the two of us. So
I know. And I think my approach too was different. So I ended up, I started with songs, like what songs did I like and everything, and try to figure out which character would I think of when I hear this song, and where would I then think could fit in.
Right. I gotcha.
So I think we came probably close.
Right.
There was just a little bit of difference.
That's cool.
But not that it wasn't fun. It was just different.
Yeah, I never took it as that. I'm just saying that I think I wrapped myself more in it, maybe because it was my idea. Right. Maybe that's why. Than maybe you did. But we'll see. I think you'll have some fun with it. I'm gonna have some fun with it, and I hope that you out there have some fun with it too, because I think it's fun. It's a fun thing to think about. Listening to these songs or thinking of the songs that you love, and then we're doing the 80s right now. I'm hoping to expand this into the 90s, the 2000s, the 70s, whatever, a bunch of different decades, and picking out those songs that will be kind of fun. So we're hoping, and then, I just think I think it's a fun thing to think about.
Yeah. Yeah. I think part of my challenge too was some of the songs that I thought about, and I still have some that showed up in other films. And I think I tried to look at that too and say, okay, if something's a huge song in another film already, then do we not?
Yeah. I mean, a lot of, even I'm sure some of my songs were within other films. It's one thing for a song to be in another film. Right. It's another thing for it to be like the centerpiece of a film. Right. We don't want to use that as well, but we'll see. But this is going to be fun. Anyway, even though Michelle says she's rigid on her list, she has the best list.
I don't know.
And it'll probably be a lot less rigid than mine when it comes down to it. So let's go ahead and get right to it. And I hope you play along, and I hope you think about some of these songs and some of your own songs that you think might fit into this genre of 80 songs we wish we were Disney tunes. Let's go ahead and get to it. Michelle, we're going to do our top 5, which could be 5, it could be 6, it could be 12. You never know, especially with Michelle. We'll see. Michelle, what is your number 5 favorite 80 song you wished was a Disney tune?
I guess I would say my number 5 would be Heaven is a Place on Earth. Actually fit in with the story of Hercules with, Herc and Meg. And, Herc gave up the opportunity to be a god, but did find his true happiness here on earth with Meg, and even from her perspective, there's lyrics, like one of them is like, in this world, we're just beginning to understand the miracle of living. Baby, I was afraid before, but I'm not afraid anymore. And so I thought, from both of their perspective, this song kind of resonated with that storyline. So, maybe it be a part of the film, like with the end credits or something where they do a pop song or something like that.
Yeah. First of all, great song by Belinda Carlisle. Yeah. Really, really good. Former Go-Go's lead singer.
Yeah.
And, it was I think it was her first big hit when she went out and went solo. But it's a really great song. And I had it on my list at one point. I actually for a long time, and I pushed it off at the end. And exactly tied into your exact thinking there. I was going to go with Hercules and the kind of the finale there where he passes up on becoming a god to stay with Meg.
Yeah.
Heaven is a place on earth. It fits completely within that. And
Yeah.
I
Oh,
completely
interesting
agree with
that
you
we're on that
one.
same wavelength
See?
there.
So
Wow.
not so far off after all.
So far, so it's a fairly decent start then. Is that what you're saying?
Yes, I knew you would do well. Again, Michelle's list is always the best
I don't
list.
know. I think it might get a little wacky, especially with the next one. But
Well, Michelle's list is always the wackiest list too.
that is true. Okay, so then I guess we're at your number 5.
My number 5, I'm actually going to tie into an attraction, an Epcot attraction.
Ooh, okay.
That already has a really great song within it that we love. But I feel like this kind of plays into it as well. I'm talking about Journey into Imagination. And I feel like with the themes that go into the Journey of Imagination,
A song by Journey?
that this song from Human League also fits in.
Keep feeling fascination, passion burning, love so strong. Keep feeling fascination, looking, learning, moving on. Keep feeling fascination, passion burning, love so strong. Keep feeling fascination, looking, learning, moving on. Keep feeling fascination, passion burning, love so strong.
So why I feel it ties in is obviously, Journey into Imagination. It's all about imagination
Right.
and exploring imagination, but also you can tie into that the fascination with imagination,
yeah,
or
that's right.
keep feeling that fascination as you go through life to explore things.
Sure.
I feel like it completely ties in a way that would be excellent within that attraction.
Right. Yeah, I can see that. Actually, several other things. I could see it being somewhat tied in with Tomorrowland.
Sure.
Where, especially when Tomorrowland had that theme of tomorrow, not really the future, but
Looking,
past.
learning,
Right.
moving on.
Yeah.
I keep feeling
Interesting.
fascination. That's kind of why I tied into my attraction here. I wanted
Right.
an attraction one. I kind of
Yeah.
felt like that one fit very well.
Yeah, I see that. Very good.
Well, thanks.
Bravo.
So that's my number 5. Back to the real list, the real wacky list. Let's get to Michelle's number 4 80s song that we wish was a Disney tune.
I'm going to say Warrior by Scandal.
Shooting at the walls of heartache. The warrior. I am the warrior. And heart to win. Heart to win. If you survive. The warrior. Shooting at the walls of heartache. Bang, bang. I am the warrior. Yes, I am the warrior. Victory is mine. The warrior. I am the warrior. Shooting at the walls of heartache.
So this one, I actually thought of several different, whether you talk about attractions or even movies. Like my initial thought was a little bit with the newer films, Turning Red, where she becomes a warrior and, some of what she's dealing with in that. But one thing I thought, that's all 90s songs, which I'm looking forward to doing this with 90s songs, by the way. But anyhow,
Maybe next.
and so I didn't want to mix an 80s song with a 90s themed film. So I thought the other one that this reminded me a lot of was in with Muppets is Miss Piggy. And I was also doing some research, on some of these songs too, to make sure I was getting the right impression of the songs. And so I did see from one of the co-writers of the song, Holly Knight, that she was commenting about it on her thoughts when she was writing the song. And she said, rather than a love song or a fighting song, it was more empowerment. I never realized before I wrote that song how much the warrior spirit inside of me, and it means a lot to me, which I am writing about in my memoirs. To stand up to the things that you believe in and to follow through believing in those dreams can come true. Basically not taking, we'll say crap, that's not the word she used, from people, but still having some class. And I think that's Miss Piggy. You know, she is a warrior. She has a soft side, and once in a while it does sneak through and things like that. And even within her relationship with Kermit. And so
Sure.
I thought that kind of fit in with Miss Piggy.
I like it. And it was another song that was on my list for a long time and then got pushed off at the end. But I had it tied into a couple different people. And it's more, obviously, it's not, shouldn't surprise you. I'm more straight-laced. Michelle's more out there with her choices. Mine, at first I initially thought of Mulan with that song. And then I was going to change it to Raya because I kind of thought heartache, driven by the heartache part of it, might be something more in Raya's realm, with losing so many of the people she loved, her father being frozen and everything, or not frozen, but, turned to stone essentially. And I kind of felt like that fit her. Right. So that's where I kind of was going with it. But again, it's in my honorable mentions, but it got pushed off of my main list at the end. But I'm, again, in lockstep with you in many regards.
Cool.
So.
All right. So that means we must be at your number 4.
My number 4 goes to a song that I think will fit perfectly within a nighttime spectacular. I mean, I think that you were to put this into any nighttime spectacular. I mean, I know obviously we want to hear our Disney songs. Right. We're in a nighttime spectacular. But this song, done by Van Halen, I think would fit right in as well.
So baby, dry your eyes, save all the tears you cry. Oh, that's what dreams are made of. Oh, baby, we belong in a world that must be strong. Oh, that's what dreams are made of.
So I just think that the dreams idea, and that's what love is made of, fits perfectly within the heart and sentiment that you get from a Disney nighttime spectacular.
That's true. That's true. And the sound of it is very much.
And it moves, it goes. I mean, I know there's a lot of people that aren't as in love with this version of Van Halen as the David Lee Roth version of Van Halen. I love both versions. I almost think that they sound to me like almost completely different bands, and I love them both for different reasons. Right. The Van Hagar, Sammy Hagar version of Van Halen is a little bit more polished, and I just kind of like that sound, and I think it kind of fits with Disney. And I just think that song, which is I think one of their first singles that they released when Sammy Hagar came in, is just a perfect song that you could just picture it. If you just close your eyes, you can picture the fireworks over the castle.
Yeah. Once you said nighttime spectacular and hearing that, definitely could see that. Yeah. So. Yeah. And people listening and hearing how much you know about the 80s, they probably should already have figured out that you are the best person to have on your team for a Disney Cruise 80s trivia.
Like my 80s songs. I can't help myself. I do like my 80s songs.
It's great.
That's my number 4 80s hit that I wish was a Disney song. Let's get back to the real list, though. Let's get to Michelle's number 3 song.
Okay, my number 3 would be one that I would think would, again, going back to film, or maybe I had another option for this, but it's You Can't Hurry Love by Phil Collins.
Now love, it don't come easy, but I keep on waiting, anticipating for that soft voice, talk to me at night, for some tender arms,
what you were just talking about, I know this song was done previously with, I believe it was Diana Ross.
The
right?
Supremes.
The Supremes,
Yeah.
yeah. But it's interesting how Phil Collins does it. Again, I don't know if the word is polished or softer or whatever, but what this really kind of reminded me, the sound wasn't associated with the story well, but the song's sentiments, and that is of Beast from Beauty and the Beast. You know, that he's longing to be in love and realizing, especially with what his obstacles are that he feels he has, that it's going to take longer. It's going to take a lot more patience and that give and take. So that's why I thought it kind of fit in with that storyline. Thought maybe it could even be like the pre-show song at the parks at the Hollywood studios when you're waiting for the performances to start and the audience is still coming in and everything. That could be a song that kind of goes along with the storyline.
Yeah. Plus Phil Collins, has
Yeah.
a long history with Disney.
That
so
is true.
Kind of makes sense in many
Right.
regard.
Yeah.
I like it. I like it. I think it's a
okay.
great choice. It's a great
Thank
song.
you. Thank you.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. Yeah, it's a fantastic remake of a great Supreme song.
Yeah.
Diana Ross and the Supremes for sure. So great choice.
Well,
Great job.
thank you, sweetie. And now we're at your number 3.
Well, my number 3, I actually have a 3A and a 3B.
Ooh.
And they're tied in to a certain film franchise because, as we all know, hashtag real men love Frozen. And the songs in Frozen are spectacular. But what if we could throw a classic hit or two into there? And I found a couple of places, and I wanted to separate them, but I couldn't because I felt like they're completely different concepts.
Okay.
But I just felt like they fit within the film in different ways that I think was kind of fun and interesting. And I'm going to start off with something that I could picture, like as there maybe, Anna's here and Kristoff's over here and Elsa's over here. And I could see them singing. It could go from one character to another, singing different lines within it. Because, in the original Frozen film, it was kind of a cruel summer. Anna singing, "Where are you leaving me here on my own?" And them all singing, "It's a cruel summer."
Yeah.
I just feel like it'd be a kind of a fun little medley to play within from different voices at different parts
Right.
within or around the mountain or whatever. I guess
I could definitely see that
It kind
concept.
of fits. So that was, of course, Bananarama doing "Cruel Summer," and my 3B comes from, I think, will be a great song for Anna to sing to Hans.
Shot through the heart, and you're to blame. You give love a bad name. I play my part, and you play your game. You give love a bad name. Bad name. Shot through the heart, and you're to blame. You give love a bad name. Bad name. I play my part, and you play your game. You give love a bad name. Bad name. You give love. You give love. Bad name. You give love. You give love. Bad name.
Couldn't you just picture Anna telling Hans off, "You give love a bad name"? Or maybe Anna and Elsa telling their father off? I don't know.
I don't know. Yeah. Somebody in that
This,
franchise.
seriously, I just got to find it's just the concept to me. And plus, I love Bon Jovi. I had to get Bon Jovi in an 80s
Right. I
song
know.
thing somewhere.
Yeah.
And I thought that kind of fit.
No, that's true. That is a good one. And I love Bon Jovi too. I actually don't think I have a Bon Jovi, and I was hoping, but again, I think I got tied up. But
Oh, yeah, I'm sure I could figure out if I thought about it longer, Living on a Prayer could be somewhere. But,
yeah, I know.
Because I really want to get Living on a Prayer
Yeah.
in there. But,
I did too.
maybe some point. If you know a place where Living on a Prayer would fit, let us know.
Right.
Because I want to play it. Well, let us know. So that was my number 3A and 3B
Very
in
cool.
Hyperion Adventures podcast fashion.
Nice.
Get those in
Good
there.
that one of us did that.
Let's get back to the real list, though. Let's go back for Michelle's number 2 favorite 80s hit she wishes was a Disney song.
All right. Well, this one, I like the song a lot too, but I selected this one because it's something that reminded me of Simba and Nala, and how we could incorporate it there. So it's Heaven by Bryan Adams.
I've been waiting for so long for something to arrive, for love to come along. Now our dreams are coming true, through the good times and the bad. Yeah, I'll be standing there by you. And baby, you're all that I want. When you're lying here in my arms, I'm finding it hard to believe we're in heaven. And love is all that I need, and I found it there in your heart. Isn't too hard to see. We're in heaven, You're all that I want. You're all that I need.
Yeah. So, this one really, I felt like could complement the "Can You See the Love Tonight" portion of the story of the film, because even throughout in that song, there's also more lyrics talking about thinking of our younger years. There were only you and me. We're young, wild, and free, kind of thing, and I, that, and like what he's saying later on, that you're all that I need through the good times and the bad, and that's what they had been experiencing through their life together, and now they were going to go on together, and so I thought that was kind of very much reminiscent of Simba and Nala's relationship.
I like it. And the Great White North coming in strong with Canada's favorite son, Bryan Adams, there with a great song. One of his, he has so many great songs. There's some
Yes.
others I could put in
Oh,
somewhere
for
in this
sure.
too. But that's a great one. That's a great
Yeah.
choice for sure.
All right.
I love it.
Thank you.
I love it. Good
Thank
choice.
you.
Good choice.
Okay, so I think we're at your number 2.
My number 2, I think of, we needed something to go into Marvel. Now, I know Marvel has a lot of music into the Guardians of the Galaxy and everything else, but this is a song that I really love. I know Michelle actually really loves this song, and I think that it's really a heartfelt song that would fit a classic romance that spanned many, many, many decades.
If you're lost, you can look and you will find me. Time after time. If you fall, I will catch you. I'll be waiting. Time after time. If you're lost, you can look and you will find me. Time after time. If you fall, I will catch you. I'll be waiting. Time after time. 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 Time after time.
So obviously that is the great
Yeah,
Cyndi
Cyndi
Lauper with arguably her best song in Time After Time. I mean, she has a lot of great hits, but I think that's probably our favorite from her.
And she actually had a song in Epcot for a while.
I did not know that.
Yeah, when over at Journey to Imagination, and they had a Kodak themed.
Oh, okay.
And it was, I'm trying to think of the name of it now. It has to do with pictures and colors and things like that.
So she already has some Disney ties.
She already has
there,
Disney ties, yes. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to
That's
interrupt
okay. I like the fun fact. Michelle's fun facts. Always the best fun facts. So I thought how this could tie in was with Captain America Steve Rogers and Agent Peggy Carter's kind of romance. Time after time.
That's
they
true.
kept running into each other time after time, so much so, and spoiler alert for Avengers Endgame, Steve actually ends up going back in time to reunite and be with Peggy, and live out his life with her.
Yeah.
And I think that's very touching, and I think it's encompassed within that song.
Right.
That they will always be there for one another time after time.
Yeah, definitely. No, that's an amazing tie-in.
Thanks.
Good job.
So that's my number 2. But let's get back to the real list. And the number 1 on the real list, Michelle's list, Michelle's number 1 80s hit that she wishes was a Disney song.
Well, my number 1 would be a song by Billy Joel that screams a particular character that I think you all just hearing it would probably think of as well, and that would be Uptown Girl.
And when she's walking, she's looking so fine. And when she's talking, she'll say that she's mine. She'll say I'm not so tough just because I'm in love with an uptown girl. She's been living in her white dirty world as long as anyone with hot blood can. And now she's looking for a downtown man. That's what I am. Uptown girl, she's my uptown girl. You know I'm in love with an uptown girl. My uptown girl. You know I'm in love with an uptown girl. My uptown girl. You know I'm in love with an uptown girl.
Yeah, so to me, this song just screams Minnie Mouse. And
That's not where I was going.
really?
Because I had this on my list at one point. It's not on it anymore, but it was on my list at one point.
Interesting. Yeah, I could either see it in, some type of an attraction, or even, the newer Mickey Mouse shorts, that it could be something, a scene between Mickey and Minnie, and he's getting ready to take her out on a date or wants to take her out on a date. Almost like the actual video from the 80s of this song that I could just see plugging in Mickey and Minnie into those.
Perfect. It definitely fits. And I do think that's a good call. I was going to go in a different direction with it, though. I thought it fit perfectly with Lady and the Tramp.
Oh, sure.
Because I think it totally makes sense that
Right.
Tramp would be singing this about Lady. And she's the uptown girl.
That's true.
To his Tramp, obviously. It's
That-
kind of
yeah.
garage worker, if you're going to do it what Billy Joel was in the video.
Right.
But so that's where I went with
Oh,
it. It was in my honorable mentions, and it was on my list for a while, but it didn't quite make it. But
Oh.
and I like your version of it too with
Oh.
Minnie Mouse, because she definitely is an uptown girl.
Right,
There's no
right,
question
yeah.
about that. So I like that. I like
Oh,
that.
thank you. So now I'm anxious to hear your number 1.
Well, my number 1 is going to be another song that I think fits perfectly into a nighttime spectacular. It's the 80s. There's no way we weren't going to have this somewhere within this list.
Don't stop believing. Hold on to that feeling. Street light people. Don't stop believing. Oh,
again, yes, Journey, obviously, like
Right.
you didn't know that, with Don't Stop Believing, fits perfectly in a
Right.
nighttime spectacular. And it's a lot of the themes that within a nighttime
Yes.
spectacular is just keep on believing,
Right.
keep on fighting, and the good things will happen. And it's a celebratory song.
Right.
That everyone would get into. I think it'd be fantastic.
Yeah, definitely. It was kind of on my list, but I couldn't come up with characters that I really felt tied in with that, and maybe that's again where I was putting the limitations.
I cheated
for
a little
myself.
bit. Well, I mean, I kind of had this plan all along of that it could fit, just it needed to fit somewhere within Disney.
Right.
But if you're looking at to try and tie it into a character, obviously that wasn't necessarily where I went.
Right,
with it,
right. And
but-
so otherwise, because I also thought that would be a perfect song that would fit this category. So I'm glad you found a way to put it in there. That's awesome.
Well, thank you.
Yeah.
So, do you have any honorable mentions by any chance?
Well, that would have been my honorable mention.
Okay.
Like I said, I think there were a couple other songs that I had toyed with. I can't think of right now that just when I was going through the lyrics saying, oh, this one maybe not quite fitting Disney.
Right. I gotcha.
But yeah.
I had a couple.
Yeah?
I'm going to start with, I had thinking about Belle and Beast,
Mm-hmm.
and I had Can't Fight This Feeling Anymore.
Oh,
Maybe
yeah.
thinking Belle's Thoughts.
Right.
Of course, the REO Speedwagon song. I thought that might
Yeah,
fit within
definitely.
it.
Yeah.
I also thought this song from actually a 70s queen, but this is an 80s song that I thought would fit perfectly for Tiana from, obviously
Mm-hmm.
Princess and the Frog. That is obviously She Works Hard for the Money.
Right.
You heard it a few times there.
Million.
from Donna Summer, who
Right.
was just fantastic singer from mostly the 70s, but she
Yeah.
did some great things in the 80s as well. And I just could see that in a montage of Tiana,
Right.
before she gets changed to a frog, where
Right.
she's, working at the restaurants
Yeah.
and making beignets and trying to earn the money
Yeah, not
to
going out with
open
friends.
Tiana's
Yeah.
place and everything. I could fit that right into that
Right.
movie and it wouldn't skip a beat. Right
Yeah, yeah. I guess they could, if they were going to do a live action of that film,
Yeah.
they could do that. Or even in a nighttime spectacular when that came up on
Right.
maybe like a projection or something. Some things. Yeah, very
And,
good.
and I really desperately wanted to fit Aha in here somewhere, but I couldn't put it together where I would tie it in yet.
Right.
So that's why you're hearing that going in and out of this segment is because of that. And I just desperately wanted to play that song. But those are our lists. We'd love to hear your list. What 80s songs do you think would fit somewhere? I'm sure that even just give us one, give us 5, give us a traditional Hyperion Adventures podcast 8, whatever you want to do, share them with us and we will add them to an upcoming show.
Yeah.
Well, that was more fun than I even expected it. You know me, I love 80s music.
Yes, I do know you do.
And that was a lot of fun. I wasn't sure. I thought it would be something that would come across well. I hope you all enjoyed it out there.
Yeah, it was I think a departure from some of our normal music, episodes. And like you said, hope people enjoyed it.
Yeah.
Try something and, like you said, maybe something we'll look at other decades to do similar things with.
Yeah. If you liked it, we will look into, some of the other decades. Like I already mentioned it, maybe the 90s, maybe the 70s, 2000s, whatever is. We hope to eventually kind of hit that musical wheelhouse that you enjoy very much. And we'd love to hear what your recommendations are for what you think would be great songs that could be Disney songs, great
Right.
hits from these decades.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah. Now, before we get to the Disney stories of the week, I want to talk a little bit about our great friend Nate with Main Street and More Travel, because let's face it, we all have trips we're thinking about taking in the very near future. Well, if you do, whether it be to Walt Disney World, Disneyland, Disney Cruise, or anywhere in the world beyond, let me tell you, Nate is the certified Disney vacation planner that you are going to want to get in contact with.
Oh my gosh, for sure. As we, mention all the time, he really has firsthand knowledge of things, so he can really help you plan, customize a trip that is going to be the best for you, answer your questions. It's really concierge level planning that doesn't cost you anything.
High end. It is high end stuff that he will help you out with, answer all your questions. He is there for you to make sure your trip, wherever it may be the best it possibly can be. And as Michelle mentioned, no extra cost to you. That's because either Disney or whatever other travel branch that he works through pays him for you. What you end up paying is exactly what you pay if you did all that work yourself. Only you can save that time and just relax and enjoy and let him set it all up for you.
Right. And you know what? He may even be able to save you some money from you doing it alone, because he is on top of all the deals and steals that are out there.
Yeah. And there's never a guarantee, but let me tell you, if there's a discount out there, Nate will find it for you. So what you got to do is go to distripsandmore.com, fill out the form there, and just contact him, talk to him, tell him what you want to do, and let him get to work for you.
Right. So as Tom mentioned, once you fill out that form, Nate will be back in touch with you to start that planning, but be sure to tell him that Tom and Michelle sent you.
Yeah. Again, that's Nate with Main Street and More Travel. Now, let's go ahead and move on to our Disney stories of the week. I do have a few for you this week, and I'm going to talk a lot of food this week.
Yeah.
We'll start with Disney must have heard us talking about it with Justin Monorail a couple of weeks ago, because they just released details about the reimagined Trails End restaurant at Disney's Fort Wilderness Resort.
That it has some great barbecue.
That's right. It already had great barbecue, but it's even better.
Yeah.
For sure. This coming from the Disney Parks blog, they said, over at Disney's Fort Wilderness Resort and Campground, there are two locations now, that have just reopened their doors once again to feed hungry patrons with mouth-watering delights. Trails End Restaurant and Crockett's Tavern have refreshing new looks and delicious bites you are definitely going to want to try.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Definitely. Isn't that my word?
My word, for sure.
Yeah. The looking at the photos of how it's been reimagined or anything, it looks that it really stuck to the original theming of, Fort Wilderness, and still made it brighter and fresher, and new light fixtures, things like that.
Yep. Looks great.
It does.
Very excited for it. They have all that great wood in there that they've always had, but they seem like they've even added more of it. And if it's spruced up, it just looks great. So rustic and wonderful, and just fits right into the Fort Wilderness Campground. So we'll start with Trails End Restaurants, which has been reimagined to a quick service location with tasty items to fill your belly. So yes, before it was a table service restaurant, a buffet style table service restaurant. Now it's going to be more of a quick service location, but it looks like it's going to have some really, really wonderful offerings.
It sure does. I'm looking forward to trying a lot of them.
They say whether you're looking for family size entrees and sides to bring back to your cabin or campsite, or freshly prepared individual size entrees to feast on inside the restaurant's casual seating area, there are plenty of tasty options to choose from. The refreshed marketplace concept now includes an on-stage pizza station. That's right, on stage, so
that's
you
very
can
cool.
watch them making your pizza for you.
Yeah, I love it.
Where you can satisfy your appetite with a slice or, yes, an entire pie. Bring it back to your campsite, whatever you want to go. There will be 2 new options available. First one, really interested in, a smokehouse style pizza topped with smokehouse smoked brisket, sausage, and pepperoni. Talk about a meat lover's pizza. I have a fascination with. That's one right
Yeah,
there.
smoked brisket just sounds like it'd be amazing on pizza.
Yeah, that sounds really, really good. They also have a delicious roasted vegetable pie. And yes, classic pepperoni and cheese are still available. Our son Scott will be very happy about that.
For sure.
Although, to be honest with you, just put a pizza in front of him. It doesn't really matter what
Right.
it is. He'll be pretty darn happy.
Definitely.
For sure. In addition to these tasty offerings, the market style selections are filled with a variety of items with all the fixins to fit your fancy. At the hot grab and go section, you can pick from the proteins like pecan smoked whole chicken or brisket and a whole rack of pork ribs. And of course, no trip to Fort Wilderness is complete without fried chicken. We love Fort Wilderness
Yes.
fried chicken.
It's a nice tradition that we have.
Sides will be available by the pound, including macaroni and cheese, plant-based cowboy beans, and mashed potatoes. These aren't the only bites to be had. You can also order classics like cheeseburger, plant-based vegetable burgers, chicken nuggets, and French fries. And for some comfort food, the home-style meals feature cornbread, coleslaw, and mashed potatoes with gravy, and your choice of a half slab of barbecued ribs or 2 pieces of fried chicken. We've done those meals many times.
Right,
and
yeah.
really enjoyed them.
They're great family food.
You can also treat yourself to hand-scooped ice cream and specialty coffees like the Wilderness Latte with flavors of chocolate and hazelnuts. That sounds
Yum.
really delicious. Yep. To keep it fresh, there are also a variety of beverages and snacks on the go, like the new chicken wrap featuring a new house-made, yes, you're going to hear this right, blueberry barbecue sauce, which sounds delicious.
It does.
I can't wait to try that. And also returning the favorite Pioneer Berry Salad. The true star of the show is the lineup of new and returning sweets we featured in the market. A house-made bakery, which is within this market. A pastry team dusted off old favorite recipes from years past, like the banana pudding, carrot cake cupcake, blueberry bread pudding, and yes, you're going to hear this right, the legendary strawberry shortcake from Hoop-Dee-Doo Musical Review will now be available in a single serve portion. So yes, you can grab that right there within Trails End Restaurant.
It's so great. I mean, it's awesome to be able to get to go to the show, but if if that's not in your plans to attend that show, that you could still enjoy that wonderful dessert.
Yep, I'm looking forward to it. I love a good strawberry shortcake. I am looking forward to picking that up while we're out there. Also, for the vegans and vegetarians out there, there's a plant-based lemon blueberry trifle, which is filled with layers of lemon curd, fresh blueberries, and whipped quote-unquote cream.
It sounds amazing.
Yeah,
I definitely was looking forward to trying that one.
We talked about it. We may be having to go to the Food and Wine Festival many times to check
Right.
out all the stuff that we want to taste there. We may have to get to Crockett's Tavern and to Trails End Restaurant many times to try all this food because
Yes.
we haven't even got to Crockett's Tavern yet, and the list is already extensive of things I
Right?
want to sample. So let's go ahead and get to Crockett's Tavern, which is being refreshed as a lounge now with expanded seating both indoors and outside to give you a beautiful view of Bay Lake.
Yes. I mean, it's a great location because it does get a lot of foot traffic, whether it's people going to the Hoop-Dee-Doo, waiting to get into that show, or just people who are at the resort and going down towards the water side. It's a great place. They didn't really have much with that lounge to entice people to participate.
Yeah, it was basically just kind of a bar that was part of the restaurant before. Now they've feels like they're using their space more in a more imaginative and better way.
Right.
And, it felt like it wasn't used correctly before. Now it sounds like, and we haven't been there yet to really check it out, but from the pictures, it looks like the space is being used to a better ability for it. And I'm glad that's going to be good.
Yeah. If you think of the lounges at some of the other resorts, especially like Wilderness Lodge.
Yeah, like Geyser Point.
Geyser Point, or the one that's inside. Why can't I
The
think?
Territory Lounge.
Territory Lounge. Thank you. And that
I know
also-
my lounges.
You do. And that had a refresh not too long ago too. It sounds like that they're making it a comfortable lounge area for people to hang out in.
For sure. Looking forward to checking that out so much. So the story went on to say its reimagined menu was designed by Disney's talented culinary team with new bites and sips paying tribute to the heritage of the resort and its inspiration from the American frontier. But don't worry, they will still be the to-go window for those looking for a libation or mocktail to enjoy before experiencing the Hoop-Dee-Doo music review, or if you're just walking by.
Right.
We've used that to-go window.
Yes.
That's been there before. We've used that to-go window to pick up a cocktail many times and enjoyed it every time we have.
Yes, even with family and friends just visiting, not staying overnight there.
Yep.
It's a great place to go
sure.
in and enjoy.
If you love trying different flavors, then you're in luck because they new to the menu a trio of sliders. This features a pulled pork slider with barbecue sauce and coleslaw, a brisket slider with Carolina barbecue and pickled onions, and a buffalo chicken slider with house-made blue cheese dressing and dill pickles served with seasoned French fries. I want all of that. That sounds great.
Right, that trio sounds so good.
For sure. The new chicken bites are going to satisfy you and your taste buds. You can pick your favorite sauce among buffalo, garlic parmesan, and we already mentioned it, the blueberry barbecue sauce.
Yes.
These bites are also served with celery, house-made ranch, blue cheese, and seasoned French fries. Again, all over that.
Yep.
Yeah. And I love a good charcuterie board. Well, they have a brand new charcuterie board coming to the lounge with it features a selection of meats and cheeses with house-made bread and butter pickles, tomato jam, cornbread crostini, and sesame lavash. Yep, I'm on board for that as well.
Yes. Again, highlighting the charcuterie boards at these lounges is so wonderful. This one sounds particularly interesting, having a cornbread crostini.
Yeah.
It sounds yummy.
Seems like it will fit right in with the theming there for sure.
Definitely.
I can't wait to check it out. Also, there are some delicious new plant-based offerings, including the crispy cauliflower paired with tasty garlic aioli, which is a fan favorite from the Hoop-Dee-Doo musical review plant-based menu. It is also gluten and wheat friendly. Yep, I'm on board for that as well. That sounds fantastic. Also, be sure to try the plant-based fried green tomato sliders, again on board, with a southern remoulade and citrus greens served with seasoned French fries. Yep.
It's amazing.
There's so much
All
good food
amazing
coming.
good
I
food.
know.
Yes.
For a sweet finish, the trailblazing dessert trio is sure to please.
Sounds amazing.
Yes, this delightful dish features a s'more with chocolate pudding, graham cracker crumbs, and house-made marshmallow, a strawberry shortcake with strawberries and whipped cream, and a banana pudding with vanilla wafers, whipped cream, and a banana chip. Yep.
It's so cute. I don't know for sure how they're going to serve it up. The pictures that they had announcing the new menu were like in mini mason jars.
Right.
But it's, so it again sticks to that theme, but those,
They look fantastic.
what they've done with trios in these two places that are reopening, need them all.
Right. And we're not done with trios. I'm about to get to another one here in a second, but I just want to say there are more desserts on that menu as well that all sound fantastic. And I'm looking forward to trying many of those desserts
Definitely.
for sure. On to the next trio. For those looking for an adult beverage to accompany their meal, Crockett's Tavern has multiple options to choose from with their Heritage Cocktail program. Then one of the trios coming up here is a Moonshine Cocktail Flight, which has a sampling of their favorite moonshine cocktails featuring the Gully Whumper, the Blackberry Lightning, and the Spiced Appleberry Shine. We've tried some of those moonshine cocktails through that to-go window before.
Right, yes.
Looking forward to sitting down and trying some of that.
And if you need to take home some moonshine, they sell that at the little store there too.
There's a long menu of other themed specialty cocktails as well as beer and wine that all sound spectacular as well. Bottom line is we have to get there soon because this sounds like a fantastic reimagining of a space that was already fantastic.
Right. And so now you can see why it was my favorite thing of the week.
Yes, for sure. Very much so. It is. My favorite thing from a future week is getting out there and trying all that great
Definitely,
stuff.
yes, for sure.
Speaking of changes at Disney dining locations, there are a few big ones coming to some Disneyland restaurants. This is reported by Scott Gustin on Twitter, who is a great follow on Twitter. If you're looking for Disney information,
Right.
Disney news, he gets it out there. He always has some great stuff. You can find him at Scott Gustin. He says, beginning September 12th at Disneyland Resort, Carnation Cafe, Riverbell Terrace, and Cafe Orleans will be introducing new food options along with wine, beer, and specialty cocktails. You heard that right. And of course, some new non-alcoholic beverages as well.
Yeah, we talked about this the day that it was announced. You and I were definitely looking forward to trying some of this out.
Yes,
when
we
go
have
out there.
We have some a trip planned for January, and we're thinking, all right, we got to start looking to book a reservation at some of these restaurants because some of this looks pretty darn good. And yes, I know that there's maybe some dispute on whether or not there should be more adult beverages within the Disneyland park, but I'm a fan of adult beverages. I do not have a problem with it. It's not like it's everywhere in Disneyland.
Right.
It's just at some table service restaurants. Of course, it started back a while back when Galaxy's Edge opened at Oga's Cantina was the
which
first
was the
place
first,
to have it.
yeah.
Then when they reimagined or just revamped a little bit of the Blue Bayou restaurant, they added some beer and wine into that as well. Now I'm happy to see some other options while we're at this
Sure,
park.
makes sense.
So at Riverbell Terrace, they will launch a brunch offering with 6 new food items for lunch and dinner, including roasted summer squash and a barbecue burnt ends pasta. We were just talking a couple weeks ago with Justin Monorail about how Disneyland really lacking kind of in the barbecue.
Right.
Well, the barbecue burnt ends pasta. They were listening again. You're welcome, Disney. They'll also have a wild berry mule, which is an alcoholic cocktail, and their non-alcoholic specialty drink will be a Mississippi mud pie.
Nice.
Yeah. Over at Cafe Orleans, they'll be bringing back the potato and sausage soup and introduce a Pim's Hurricane. Of course, definitely an alcoholic beverage.
And that's Pim's, not PYM.
No, not like over at Avengers Campus. A little bit different. Also, for the non-alcoholic fans, there will be a Bayou Punch. It sounds pretty good too. Over at Carnation Cafe, they'll offer a new veggie skillet and Walt's chili cheese omelet and Bloody Mary and a mimosa options with breakfast. For later meal times, there'll also be a peach pie margarita, which is alcoholic, obviously, and a non-alcoholic drink that sounds delicious as well. It's an orange cream soda.
Yeah. What a great mix of flavors.
Right. Which one of those do you think you want to hit up? If we can only pick one, which one of those 3 do you think you're going to go?
If we could only hit,
gravitate
I
towards?
think I would do Carnation Cafe. Especially with the
For
concept
breakfast,
of
for sure.
Yes, right.
Yeah. Yeah.
What about you?
I don't know. That barbecue burnt ends pasta sounded pretty good for me over at Riverbell Terrace.
That is true.
It might be. I'm hoping we're going to get to do multiple. Maybe a breakfast at Carnation Cafe. Maybe a lunch or dinner at Riverbell Terrace.
Right.
We'll see. But that all sounds good. The updates are part of new menu items that are being added to the menus across the resort this fall. So expect to hear much more extensively about these menus and maybe some other dining locations as well throughout Disneyland.
Sure. It's awesome to know and hear about these exciting changes and focus on the food offerings at the park. So this is such good news.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to a return to Disneyland in January. For
Yeah,
sure.
exciting.
Speaking of Disneyland, if you're a fan of not so scary Disneyland fun and Disney guided tours, well, we have some good news for you. This straight from the Disneyland website. They say thrill to a frightfully fun time because Disney's Happiest Haunts Tour is returning to the Disneyland Resort.
That's really cool. And we did an episode. One of our first episodes actually included one of the guides that has done the tour in the past. So this is exciting that it's coming back.
Yeah, if you want to go back, and please bear with us on it. But if you want to go back
Very
to like
early
our
on.
3rd or 4th ever episode where we had a person who was a former Disneyland VIP host.
Yes.
And she discussed some of the many tours that she did and
Including
hosted
the
and
haunted.
everything. Yeah. And that was one of them. The website went on to talk about this tour, saying, let your tour guide lead your intimate group through Disneyland Park, adorned with eerie and delightful Halloween decorations. Here's what the Disney's Happiest Haunts guided tour includes. First and foremost, a 2-hour walking tour across Disneyland Park that includes a history of Halloween and Halloween tales specific to Disney experiences.
Cool.
Yep. Expedited access to Pirates of the Caribbean.
Arr.
I guess there's a little spookiness to it, but okay. Yeah, I was thinking Haunted Mansion, but okay. I like it. I'm still all about it, especially Disneyland's version of Pirates of the Caribbean, which is, at least in the United States, the better version of the Pirates of the Caribbean by a long stretch. Also, you can enjoy a reserved viewing area for Halloween screams and nighttime spectacular.
That's a big plus.
That's good, yeah. A photo op with a hitchhiking ghost audio animatronics from the Haunted Mansion. That's cool.
Very cool.
A Disney Happiest Haunts guided tour pin and a Halloween themed treat. That all sounds like a lot of fun.
It does.
Yeah.
Sounds really a unique way to celebrate Halloween.
Yeah, get into that not so spooky season
Right.
and enjoy it and really check out and have a good time out at Disneyland. Reservations will be available beginning this week on August 3rd. And you may want to jump on those if you have any interest. I don't know the pricing right now. I'm sure it's not cheap, but I think it could be a lot of fun just the same if you're looking for something a little bit different to do
Special.
when you're at Disneyland around that time.
The tours are always really well done over at Disneyland and Disney World too.
For sure. So that's it for my Disney stories of the week.
Wait.
However, I think I've heard Michelle talk about that she may have a Disney story of the week. And this is what we're all building up to, because
I don't
if
think
it's a Michelle Disney story of the week, it's going to be the best Disney story of the week.
I don't know about that. It's something that came out late in the week. I believe it was Friday that it came out, and it's from Disney Parks, a tweet or whatever that is called these days. It says
It's an X.
It's an X. There's a new interactive experience coming to the Magic Kingdom. Smellephants. That's right. I said Smellephants on parade. And it's going to be a family-friendly search and sniff adventure in Storybook Circus, presented by Scentsy, the official home fragrance of Walt Disney World. They're going to have more details coming out about that, but it sounded a little unique and kind of cute, different.
Sounds fun. And hopefully they don't smell too much like elephants.
I know.
But I'm sure that I'm all about scavenger hunts and fun things to do, outside of the attractions in the park. And that seems like a fun little adventure that you can go on with the kids while you're waiting for, the next attraction, maybe your lightning lane to come up, the dining reservation, whatever it is. You're just, looking to fill some time while you're there. That sounds like it could be fun.
For sure.
Yeah, definitely. So I already told you, Michelle's stories.
I don't know.
Always the best stories.
It's different.
Speaking of the best from Michelle, well, we never leave you without giving you some sort of tip that might help you on your next vacation. And when we do this, we always start with Michelle, because you just heard it a little bit ago. She has the best lists. You just heard it a second ago. She has the best Disney stories. She does the best Disney research. She always also has the best tip every single week. Let's go ahead and get to it. Here is Michelle's tip of the week.
Well, thank you, sweetie, for that build-up. So our tips are really focused and geared towards you having a great time, whether it be on a Disney parks or Disney vacation time. And this tip is to really help you in having a great time by hopefully not getting a sunburn. And the information really that I was surprised to hear about that could help you is that sunscreen actually expires in the sense of its effectiveness. So it's not like if you used expired, it would be dangerous to your skin. It just might not have the same level of protection that is listed on the tube or the can that you're using. So to make sure that you're getting the optimal effectiveness from your sunscreen, a couple things you can do. First of all is look at the expiration date. If you already have some that you're going to be using, check that out. If you're going to be buying some, even at the store, check it out. It could possibly have already expired in the store. You never know. People make some mistakes, but you might find a certain one that has a longer shelf life for you than another one. The other thing to consider is how you store it. If you store it in your car where it's in the heat all the time, that again can also affect the potency, I guess, of the formula. So it's best to keep it either at room temperature or, even like chilled if you can when you're going to a park or whatever.
Throw it in that ice box.
Well, like we usually keep it we carry a backpack, so we usually keep it near where we have our colder waters and stuff like that. But again, the main thing is just not having it for extensive times in the heat. And again, just to have the potency of that product work for you.
Right. And believe me, if you want to hear about trying to protect yourself from sunburns, Michelle is definitely the person you want to talk to because she just looks outside and she gets sunburned. So she knows all about trying to protect herself from the sun. Trust me.
Well, not quite that bad, but I do think I've surprised you several times when I've told you, hey, I really need to get in the shade. I think I'm burning just after a few minutes of being out in the direct sun.
Yeah, it's a little funny because I do get sunburned, but I do have kind of darker pigmented skin, so it takes a bit longer.
Right.
Anything would be longer than how long it takes Michelle to get sunburned. She's getting sunburned right now. She's not outside. How long it takes her to get sunburned. So I'm always like, I try and protect her, but I also forget sometimes about how quickly it can happen. And it does happen quickly for Michelle.
Yes. So, and I'm not consistently good at remembering to reapply sunscreen. So that's something that I'm working on.
Lots of sunscreen and lots of aloe for the times that she did happen to take a glance outside and got instantly sunburned.
This time of year, especially being that we were experiencing hottest days on record throughout the country, it's just a good way to stay safe.
It's smart. And Michelle is very smart. And definitely listen to her when it comes to sun protection because she knows all about it.
Thank you. So. What about your tip?
My tip this week, well, I already mentioned it a little bit earlier in the show, and but I think it has to be talked about again because, you've heard it in the Disney stories of the week. Like, listen to all that wonderful food that's out at the Fort Wilderness Resort. And then I'm going to tell you right now, you need to go to the Fort Wilderness Resort if you haven't been there, even if you haven't been there in a while. And I'm not just talking about this. Yes, these all sound great over at Trails End Restaurant, Crockett's Tavern. Yes, you can go there for the Hoop-Dee-Doo musical review, of course. But there's so much more that you can enjoy there right within that area.
Oh, yeah. It's a great location and really easy to get to, especially from Magic Kingdom. You could just take the boat. If you're coming from another park, you can obviously take the buses or whatever, but
or you can mobile order something there and they'll let you in the gate and you can go take a bus right over there. Look, there's so much stuff there. Yes, I talked about the great food. There's all sorts of cool things going on there, like right past Crockett's Tavern and Trails End and the Hoop-Dee-Doo musical review is the Circle R Ranch, where they keep a lot of the horses and other animals that you've seen throughout, pulling some of the vehicles throughout the parks. And maybe you've even seen on the Magic of Disney's Animal Kingdom as well. They're right there. It's a great place to take the kids and check out some of the cool animals, especially as someone who loves horses.
Yeah, good free fun.
Yeah. There's the wonderful campfire sing-along, Chippendale campfire sing-along.
Yeah,
that
the OG.
happens there. Yeah. You can take a carriage ride there. You can go horseback riding there. You can go canoeing there.
True, yes.
There is a lot of...
Kayaking, yeah.
Yes, kayaking. There are a lot of... Sorry, kayaking.
No, that you can do both.
Oh, okay. Thank you. There are a lot of great activities there as well. And then we've mentioned it many, many times. If you get to the holiday season, check out the various decorations, because the guests that stay there during those times go all the way to decorate their campsites, and it looks amazing, and it adds to the holiday festivities. All I'm saying, I know it feels like it's out of the way, You may not get there. It's not maybe as elaborate as a lot of these Disney resorts that we all love, but it is a wonderful spot. And I highly encourage you, if you haven't checked it out or you haven't checked it out in a long time, to go check out Fort Wilderness at some point on your next Disney vacation.
Yes, it's a real gem.
It is. It really, really is. And I think you may fall in love with it the way we have.
Right, definitely.
For sure. So that's it for this week's
I
show.
thought that your tip was going to be something that you're old fallback on.
My hydrate.
You hydrate.
Yeah. I'll do that too. Especially after having some of those moonshine cocktails. You better remember to hydrate
That
a little more
is
after
true.
that. That's it for this week's show. Next week, well, it's been hot out. We like occasionally, when it's hot out, a cool, refreshing, creamy, tasty treat. Especially when we're in the parks and resorts at Disney. And there are some great spots to try out some unique ice cream while you're at these various parks, these various resorts. And we're going to explore a little bit of that next week.
Yeah. Obviously, people know a lot of the standard go-to places for their ice cream and creamy or milkshakes or whatever. But there are some actual really cool and unique offerings that you might not be aware of or you might not think about.
Yeah, so we'll go explore those, find out some of them good stuff that you can get there for you ice cream lovers just like us. And I'm telling you, who doesn't love ice cream?
Right.
I think this will be a lot of fun. You might find out of some spots that you didn't know existed and you might want to sample the next time you're out at these Disney parks or resorts.
Yeah, hope so.
Hope so. As for today's show, we appreciate that you join us today. In the future, you can find us most everywhere you get podcasts. However, the very best place to find us is on our own website, HyperionAdventuresPodcast.com. Also, we're on social media. We're on Twitter, X, whatever, at Hyperion Adventures Podcast, Facebook, Instagram, and Threads at Hyperion Adventures Podcast. If you are on Facebook, come on over and join us for some good, positive Disney energy fun on our Hyperion Adventures Facebook group. Also, we're on YouTube. We're at Hyperion Adventures Podcast there. And if you ever want to contact us for any reason, please hit us up at our Gmail account, HyperionAdventuresPodcast@gmail.com.
And if you like this podcast and want to help support it, we'd certainly appreciate, if you haven't already done so, to become a Patreon member.
Yeah, we really appreciate everybody who's already become a Patreon member. Tiers starting as low as $2. And so if you would think about doing it, that would be wonderful too, and we can't appreciate it more.
Exactly.
Yes. And thank you for listening to another episode of the Hyperion Adventures Podcast. We look forward to sharing some time with you again next week. Until that time, I'm Tom.
I'm Michelle.
And we hope that you have a magical week.
Bye.